All right, Players Only Podcast, live in person this time, not over Discord.
First special edition here for right now. We're watching some Monday Night Football, so why not?
Yeah, hopefully not too distracted.
Only a little bit.
Yeah. Otherwise, talking about content creators, we should get started with who's your favorite all time? Speedy.
KY Speedy, 100%. I've been watching him for at this rate
How many years?
10 years, 12. Oh no, probably going on almost 12 years now. Right back in the early days. He was huge in like the 2013, 2014. He was like the number one content creator when everybody was going crazy for him. I was right before the rise on there, and even though everybody's kind of left him, I've stuck with him for the last 12 years. So.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
His views and stuff have gone down.
Well now he's in like the 50k range on his daily uploads and stuff like that. And he's mainly like a Twitch streamer now these days.
Well, that was my next. So for YouTuber and then Twitch too, it's him.
Oh, 100%.
What about anyone else on Twitch?
I don't really watch too much Twitch. I kind of like the videos and stuff like that, especially like with just the amount of time to watch like the good content. I might as well just wait for the edited videos to come out on YouTube and whatnot. How about you for YouTube?
I still got to go way back to D-Sigs.
Okay.
He did the prank calls back in the day, back when Twitch was Justin TV. Every now and then I gotta go back to those. He also did Angry Black Man.
Yep.
Still will occasionally. Now, obviously, I watch his old stuff, not his new stuff. Just because it's like I'm poor nowadays. I need money. I can't get a real job. Blah blah blah. So kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I can see why he's not growing, but yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, nowadays on YouTube, I just watch a lot of like fantasy football stuff.
Yep.
Like to see people's opinions there.
How about Twitch wise?
I'd have to say the Smash guys, or again, I don't watch a lot of Twitch, but definitely back in the day, Mango. I've told you about this. Like, they'd get so drunk on Tuesday night was always their thing for whatever reason. They get so drunk, like, before you could start racing in Mario Kart, you had to like shotgun a beer, like just crazy. Like, you can imagine doing a cup, and after the fourth one, but yeah.
What about like TikTok? Do you have any like favorite content creators on TikTok?
I can't think of it. Skeptic guy. He's like one of the first guys that comes to mind. He's like a business owner, some kind of plumbing work.
Yep.
Always has good stories to tell. But he's been kind of quiet lately because he's like taking a college course or something. What about you? Trying to think. TikTok.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's the weird thing. Like with TikTok, I'm usually just kind of scrolling through the For You page or whatever, and just kind of whatever pops up that catches my eye. The main people that come up a lot, and I usually always watch whatever comes up. Keith Lee's a big one. The food guy that goes into and buys like from mom and pop restaurants. Yeah, he's gotten huge over the last year or so. But then also a lot of the podcast stuff, like the clips from podcasts, like the I think it's like SGH. It's like the black dude and white guy, and they're always arguing because they're saying just the most outlandish stuff. The Kelsey podcast, those ones come up, and usually those videos are pretty good on TikTok. And then Pat McAfee and stuff like that too. So.
And that's somehow TikTok has changed. I remember back in 2020, like you just didn't really get a lot of podcast clips, and nowadays, it's everywhere. Like half. And I'm glad you get those because that's something we'll get into at the end. Like, there's a lot of just annoying podcasts out there, and when their clips come up, it's always like.
And it's kind of weird too, because like over the last couple of years, like podcasts have significantly changed. Because even before COVID and stuff like that, the podcasts were like specifically audio only.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now it's more video, and most of them more or less in person. Besides obviously the Kelsey ones and whatever too. And it's a lot more clippy. Right, versus that actual overall conversation. It's more quick 2 minutes, let's talk about this and blah blah blah, and then we'll move on and talk about something else for a clip and
hit all the topics.
Exactly.
Yep. You ever get the podcast though, like the all women's podcast? Like that's not actually the name of it, but like Mean Girl Pod. Like I don't know, those clips are always horrible. Honestly, anything Barstool, it's really rare when I see a good clip out of them. I'll roast them all right here. I don't care.
You don't like Dave Portnoy when he goes and eats the pizza and rates his pizza reviews?
No.
Just when he gets yelled at on the street or something like that?
And people are stupid. Like, we can talk about that. If I had a pizza place and he came, or any YouTuber, I'd have the complete opposite attitude. Hey, you want breadsticks too? Or, something cheap?
Yep.
Hey, like, if they like them or something, like, make me look even better.
Right? Customer service, especially when it's a celebrity or some sort that can give you a shout out. And he's going to film right outside your place.
Yeah.
So.
But no, that's like, he recently had it like the second time where an owners came out and just been like, get out of here, you're rude.
New Yorkers.
Now, I do think in seeing some of those pizza reviews, he gets a little overly critical.
Sure.
Because, like, I don't know, just the mom and pop pizza places aren't, like, supposed to be the fanciest in the world, but, like, I don't know, he'll just...
I don't know, because, like, for me, especially when it comes to, like, pizza and stuff like that, if it's a little off, sometimes it can ruin it. The whole thing for me too, or I need to save it for like the next day and have it as like the cold pizza, and then it tastes a little bit better. But I need like my pizza to taste a certain way, otherwise it kind of throws it off for me and I can't eat it. So
I don't know. It's just like he'll go to a little bar, get a pizza, and then bitch about it being greasy though. That's just silly to me.
I don't know. It's too floppy. It's not baked enough. Is his big thing. I know if it curs down at the end, he won't even really want to eat it.
Yeah, curs like his cock. Anyways, and then you got Big Cat. He also commentates Rough and Rowdy.
Yep.
That podcast too is always just cringy and just like. They'll have athletes on and just ask them just the dumbest shit in the world and tell Aaron Rodgers to his face, I love seeing the Packers lose. Who cares?
Well, so I never really get too much of Big Cat stuff. The only clip I always get is like the one dude on his podcast that was bitching about his wage. He's like, yeah, this guy starts and he has less followers than I do, and he's making $100,000 a year, and Big Cat's like, well, what's the starting wage for Barstool? And I like completely just out of it. And the dude's like, well, not $100,000. Well, how much do you make? Not $100,000. And it's mostly not a lot of bitching and whatnot. So
the drama, is always high over there.
It's high pressure. They got a lot going on.
Yeah. They recently laid a lot of people off. I don't know if you heard that.
I did see that.
Because they were not making money.
Well,
they were spending more than they were making.
The CEO comes in the office and nobody's there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's work from home. Yeah. Totally thinks he's Elon Musk, copying him too. Let's be real here. You can't write articles about sports and drama at home. Like, I agree. Okay, designing maybe Twitter is a lot different, or X now, than writing a article about the Monday Night Football game. But yeah, just silly to me. Just something to make a video about.
I think it's kind of funny too, like with just content creation as a whole. It's kind of gotten rid of like a lot of like the specialty classes and stuff too. Like a lot of adults, like when we were kids, would go and like take a class on like woodworking or how to do this and that, or things about sports and blah blah blah. Now you just go on YouTube, type in whatever you want to learn, and there you go. Whether it's sports or whatever too. It's kind of interesting how that's kind of internet. You can learn anything.
Yeah.
So
that's just like ChatGPT. You can get an essay or whatever off of there, and who knows what'll be next.
Did you hear about that one teacher? He was putting student essays into ChatGPT to check and see if ChatGPT wrote it. Like he would write, "Did you write this?" And apparently, most of the time, ChatGPT would say no. And the one time it said yes, it was lying. And the student actually ended up suing the school because they kicked him out. And he was able to prove and all that stuff. And like I think the teacher was either fired or like suspended or whatever too. Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I've not heard of that story. I guess I've heard of it the other way, where people are able to figure it out, and then I guess there's another website you can go to get everything rephrased.
Oh, sure.
If we had that in college, would have you?
100%. Well, and even like when we were doing the FISM and everybody wrote the paper the wrong way, except for you or Jackson. I think it was Jackson.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, I had to redo some on there too.
Yeah, it was literally like changed 2 words, and it was everybody in the class had to change it because we all took the same stance. And it was Jackson was the only one. I'm like, oh, I guess I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
Now, if I had ChatGPT, it would have told me, and I would have had the right thing.
Yeah. And not to get sidetracked too much too, but I remember like it didn't even make sense to spend time for me to fix it with the points, but
it was like nothing.
I was like, yeah, whatever. Or else, what's your face? I'll
Lisa.
Bring it up. Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk more about that in a month, right?
Yeah.
College stories.
Absolutely.
Another content creator. I was just gonna maybe ask you about some of them, and I'll give my opinion. Ludwig. You get any of his clips? Was on Twitch, now signed to YouTube. At one time on Twitch, he had the most subs ever concurrently. It has been passed now by Kai, I believe that's his name.
Yep. Overall, the only time I get things with him in it is when he's participating with other YouTubers. Like specifically, I know he's been with like Mr. Beast in quite a few of his things, and that's the only time I've really seen him or tried to seek him out at all. Otherwise,
so again, I know him before he even started streaming because of Smash.
Yep.
Like his sidekick Slime. He might be in stuff too. Slime.
I don't think so. Oh, maybe Slime Ball kind of sounds familiar.
I don't know. They would make like funny stuff, whatever. They were trying to be the clowns of the Smash world.
Yeah.
And then I guess somehow with YouTube and other media too, Ludwig blew up. But right, he's in a lot of other stuff. It's cool because he's commentated some stuff. He'll just be talking about like the behind the scenes with Mr. Beast, which is kind of cool. Little annoying at times too. Again, Slime, between the two of them, I think he's funnier.
Sure.
What else was I going to say about him? Then I remember last year, it was like this time last year, he was the most like anti-Andrew Tate guy ever. Ludwig. And then he's buddies with Hassan. Do you ever get clips of him? He's on Twitch.
No.
Thank God. Hassan, he's someone too. When his clips come up, just the most annoying. Just hate everything. Everything is wrong. Never gives any kind of solution to problems. Just that's a problem. That guy's to blame. Like any kind of politician. I don't think he's left or right. I think he's just
right down.
Everything's wrong.
Okay.
At least that's the vibe I get from the clips.
Sure.
And then H3H3, that's a podcast too, like the same thing. Just super negative as far as everything goes. Did you ever watch Ethan back in the day, H3H3?
Very little.
Yeah, me too, very little. I thought he was definitely cooler back then.
Yep.
Now, can't stand him. Just next TikTok.
No, very, very little. Even when he would pop up, it was still kind of watch for a couple minutes and then.
Him and Trisha, what's her last name? Paytas. That was just horrible. That whole podcast just obviously put together just to be drama, just to argue and stuff, and it didn't last long.
Right. I think they've done more for like the content creation community than actually be entertaining wise, because like obviously with the lawsuits with free use and stuff like that, they definitely helped a lot of content creators with that kind of avenue.
Yeah,
but otherwise he's awful now.
Yeah,
awful.
Yeah, and I forgot about that. Yeah, he was in that whole lawsuit.
Yep.
Trying to think, who else is Aiden Ross? What do you think of him?
Annoying.
Yeah, that's kind of my take. He's definitely for the younger generation.
Oh, 100%. Him and Kai, because they're kind of similar-ish and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then even like you could even throw Speed in there too. If they're all three of them for the younger generation.
Yelling and screaming.
Speed is kind of funny here and there, and I know he has kind of like a tragic or kind of like sad back story with like his personal life stuff, but otherwise it's like all they do is scream and yell and
but I agree. Actually, Speed might have some funny here or there.
Yep.
What about Kai giving away the PS5? So is that not like the dumbest thing? Like obviously, okay, like if you're in a small town or something, maybe you can get away with it. By the time people get out to the town, it'll be gone. Downtown New York City, like could you pick a worse spot? Downtown LA, Skid Row.
Well, right. Like, that plus knowing who you are as far as Twitch is concerned, and him saying, "Oh, I didn't think it'd be this bad." Dude, you're like the number one fucking sub person on Twitch. You should know who's coming.
Yeah.
And the amount of people are coming. Plus, it's word of mouth too.
And again, it's not just the city. It's New York, man. Like,
right.
Does it? Outside of LA, I don't think it gets any bigger, any more tragic.
Right.
At least over there, you'd have more homeless people, and then things be even worse.
Right. I think as far as like Speed is concerned, I didn't even really know who he was until last year's Sidemen event for the charity soccer match that they do every year. When he was basically trying to kill KSI on the soccer field, then he kind of caught my attention because he was nuts on there. And then I got more of his videos afterwards and so on. But before then, I had no idea who the hell he was. And I really only tuned in that year because it was the first year Mr. Beast and all that was there.
Yeah. I'll just say my thoughts. Right. For the younger generation, Aiden, Speed, Kai,
yep.
They're definitely kind of the new breed of content creators. But Aiden, he doesn't even play games now. I think he just calls people on Discord and chats, and obviously tries to get people together that have very different views.
Yeah. He's kind of taken pages out of Andrew Tate's book.
Yeah.
And kind of gotten away from what he used to be, and now it's kind of...
He used to actually play games.
Right.
NBA, the sports ones, Call of Duty. So, what about from the Nelk Boys, Steiny?
No, I don't watch them at all.
Well, do you ever get their clips?
I don't think so. I think I would have to like see their face to even know who.
Well, I think you know the name. What about Bradley Martin? You ever get his clips?
Oh, I get him, yeah.
Because he's like buddies with Steiny.
Okay. Because they have that podcast thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I kind of.
A guy named Kyle is on it too. I don't really know these guys well either. I just get the clips. Everyone hates on Steiny. He's like the short guy, chubby.
Right.
I wish you got the clips because some of the things he says that I see in clips is just like, dude, how stupid are you? You got so much money and you're just
right.
Like, you know, no girls, just out of this world, stupid at times.
It's kind of funny though, like with the Bradley Martin, how much like his stuff has changed. Because it used to just be he would just post a bunch of like pictures and maybe like a video or two of him doing like workouts or like benching chicks and stuff like that. And now it's full on podcasts and everything else too.
Yeah, well, see, I guess you know him better because I didn't really know his past. I just see like his clips now and the Sarah girl that's like Indian that he's always chatting to on the podcast.
Yep.
Last clip I saw of her though, I guess she's about done with social media. Apparently,
I guess
we'll see. But Steiny I bring up because he had a podcast recently. He had this girl on there, 31, and I can't think of her name, but Sneeko was also on there. Do you know Sneeko?
I
don't. Because I mean, you know Mr. Beast or watch him some because I guess he used to be buddies with Mr. Beast or did editing or something for him.
I think I need to just see some of these guys' face. Sneeko.
I'll let you pull him up.
Musical artist, this guy?
He's not a musical artist, but yeah, that's him.
Okay.
That's him. Yeah, that first picture.
Oh yeah, he fought KSI or something like that, or they were going to maybe.
He's had a lot of beef with KSI and other creators. He's like mini Andrew Tate, maybe.
Okay.
Him, like with his views and stuff. So they had him on there, and then a girl that was like super maybe feminist is the word.
Okay.
So, and her stance is just, and again, this was Steiny was doing some kind of podcast, and she says something along the lines of like, when I go out on a date with a guy, I ask to see his bank account.
Oh.
I want to know if I'm wasting my time. You seen that clip? What is that, dude?
It's so I don't know if like some of these podcasts are like saying, hey look, I'm gonna give you $1,000 and I need you to say the stupidest thing any girl could possibly say about men, and she's like, alright, bet. And then because it's like absolutely ridiculous what some of these girls will come up with, because I don't know if you get some of these clips. It's like this guy will go around and he'll ask like girls, hey, how much should a guy make per year before they can date you? And they're like,
the whatever podcast, yeah,
$150K, and I was like,
and
what?
And then whatever does something like that, and then Fresh and Fit.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, I don't watch either one, but get the clips all the time.
Yep. Or they do like the algorithm where it's like describe your ideal man, and they'll like click like whatever they're saying, and it's like, hey, you have a 0.002% chance of finding him, so good luck.
But yeah, so then again, she's on this podcast, makes that comment. Steiny goes, well, what about like $2 million in my bank account? She's like, I don't know, let me see. Yeah. And then Sneeko is all, wow, imagine that's what it takes nowadays. You get a 31-year-old multi-million dollars.
What were you worth when you were 25?
Yeah. Were you worth $1 billion at 18?
Right.
Like, Jesus. But now that you say that, there's other content I've seen, and I think the same thing sometimes. Like, oh yeah, or I've literally told you about that with Fresh and Fit and whatever. Like, they're definitely searching for the bottom of the barrel, weird, lost.
Yep.
chicks. Like they're, and then right, it's a little concerning if some guys I think are like Falcon that don't talk to a lot of girls probably watch that and believe everything and think every girl is like those. But moving on. Who I guess I last asked about Aiden, and then we got talking about all of them.
How about he's kind of a controversial one. Bobby Yang. I've sent you a couple clips here and there. How much do you watch or not? Yeah. So, or just like the clips that pop up?
Yeah, and a lot of times I've already seen the clips. Yeah. But no, he's I think he's funny. I don't take anything to heart. Offensive or anything.
No, he's just super controversial.
And I can see that, like,
because of some of the stuff he says. But then, like, he has a couple of the jokes that people are wondering if actually are jokes,
and that's something we could almost talk about. That's always concerning because I do nowadays on the internet, and even like the last few years, like, well, and Andrew Tate's an example. Like, people will be joking, and people will take it serious. Like Andrew Tate, I don't know. A year ago I could have gave some examples, but there are definitely things he was trolling about. Yeah. But people thought he was being like dead serious, which is scary and concerning. Right. People don't know jokes, but the world we live in.
Right. Well, like with Bobby Yang, I know I sent it to you probably once or twice because every time it pops up on my For You page, I watch it, and I probably watch it 4 times before I find the slide. It's when they're listening to the white realtor lady sing the Ninja song. Yeah. And it's Bobby reacted to it. I watch it every single time.
So that is the number one clip because I remember I sat there and laughed actually listening to that. The music kind of draws you into and
he gets so mad and the other guy Andrew something, he just like keeps slowly playing it and just making him more and more mad. And the other one I get of him, and I always think it's really funny, and I think I've sent it to you too probably a couple times because I watch it every time it pops up. It's they're on another person's podcast and they're talking about being friends and going out to dinner, and Bobby Yang's calling the Andrew guy a cheap bastard because every time they go out to dinner he pays for them. He's like, oh yeah, remember that one dinner we got and he ordered everything expensive off the menu. He's like, oh, you paid for it? Yeah, I fucking paid for that. He keeps calling him a fat ass and everything. That's so funny.
Yeah. But no, does he do stand-up comedy? Because I feel like he'd be really good.
I think he does a little bit of it. I know the ginger guy does. Andrew does a lot of stand-up. I think Bobby does like the smaller shows than anything, but it's just more people just buying for the podcast stuff because he says crazy shit on other people's podcasts that is just we definitely can't say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, maybe we could go back again to one of your favorite YouTubers, streamers, Speedy.
Yep.
So again, some of my favorite moments with him back in the Modern Warfare Remastered days, him and the boys. I thought just some of the things they would say was funny, and it reminded me back when I was in high school and I don't know, had a crew to play with, and just saying the most outlandish things and
And it's kind of funny when you brought up like the Angry Black Man and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a derivative off of the original crew for the Angry Madman and stuff like that. Because somebody who used to be part of the crew, Jehovah, when he would start to get irritated because he kept dying, and so he would just scream constantly. And the dudes would be like, dude, will you shut up? And he's like, oh, you want me to shut up? And he just gets louder. And whatnot. So it's kind of funny, like a lot of those old school ones, like they used to do the prank calls and stuff like that. And a lot of their prank calls were pretty funny back in the day.
So this was like, who was this group? Was this Speedy with these guys?
Or? The crew. Speedy, G18, D20, D4, Sidearms. Used to be Jehovah, but he doesn't even do anything anymore. He does a little bit, but nothing crazy. And then Legion back in the day, but they had a huge falling out. And yeah, so it used to be nuts. And then especially when like GTA was on the rise, that's when they really took off. So it was GTA and then whatever Call of Duty was at the time.
Yeah,
they were just popping videos out like crazy. So that was back in the day when they made some like right when YouTube first started paying creators too. Yeah, I mean he was making so much cash.
Oh
yeah.
Well, smart. So trying to think, who else are you watching these days, or who else did you back in the day?
I mean, it's mostly last week. It takes a lot for me. At least it used to. Now TikTok is kind of if you come up a handful of times and you're really funny or something like that, I'll start following you. Yeah. But it used to take a lot for me to actually sub to people off of YouTube. Now it's, I don't know, maybe my bar set a little bit lower or something like that, but I mean, you got your big ones, you know, PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jack. Jack back in the day was awesome.
Okay, well that's good. For the people watching, he's just a sellout to me now. I hardly know him, but
well, let's go from the top down, right? So Mr. Beast is the biggest creator in the world. Makes the craziest videos in the world.
Yeah.
How much do you watch? Do you like?
I get some clips here and there. Yeah. Like him dropping the buses on each other.
Oh yeah, that was a cool video.
That's about it.
Yeah.
How much do you watch?
Almost every video that comes out. Primarily because on like the main channel, he always just tries to one up his last video.
Yeah.
Which is always good. Some of the gaming challenges that they do, because he has like 3 or 4 channels. The stuff on his gaming channel can be pretty good because they think of creative ways to use like Minecraft. They'll do like crazy style battle royales and stuff like that, or they'll like recreate the whole like Earth and then have like different people for battle royales and stuff like that. And it's always really cool and lots of cool twists and stuff like that. And then he has his Beast Philanthropy, which I just watch because every view that he gets and whatever money he makes just off of views, he puts it towards like orphanages and stuff like that. So,
which is good.
Yeah, and then he had like the big like the tree, and then the cleaning the oceans, and that was all through the philanthropy stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I will say again, I don't watch him a lot, but I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
When it comes to Mr. Beast, you know, he'll get in the news sometimes, and
yep.
People try to twist it for views or whatever, attention, clicks.
Right. That's the thing though too, because it's like he's got this gigantic spotlight on him, especially now, because PewDiePie's not really doing anything anymore. He'll post something like once-ish a week, once a month, especially now that he's got his kid. But he's the biggest guy, you know, so you gotta nitpick everything he does and whatever, even though for the most part it's all good stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't really get the nitpicking, but I don't know. How about Markiplier?
I don't watch a lot either, or see clips.
I used to.
Don't dislike him.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm neutral with him.
I know if there's a certain game that I want to see played, and it's not a multiplayer game because he usually doesn't, and that's what Speedy plays is just pure multiplayers. Then usually I might watch a clip or two or something like that. His rage videos back in the day were really good. I know I think I sent you like his Mario Maker ones, and those were always really funny because he broke shit. Those were good. He's got a movie coming out soon, Iron Lung, which will be interesting to see what happens with that. Obviously, YouTubers are apparently making good movies right now.
Yeah.
The Raka Raka Boys, they got approved for a second movie because the first one did so well.
Yeah, heard about that. Yeah.
And whatnot. So, I don't know. I don't watch him as much anymore, but used to be really good. Plus, what he did with Unus Annus was pretty cool. If you know what that is. Basically, he created a channel with his buddy Ethan, and it was strictly for 1 year. They made a video every single day for a year, and as soon as the year ended, the channel was gone. All the videos, everything, completely gone. Can't find them anywhere. Now, of course, some people saved a couple clips, but he has like a legal team that purposely goes around and takes everything down. And it's supposed to be like, hey, it's here for a short period of time, enjoy it type of thing. It's the experiment. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, he is weird.
Yeah.
But you gotta be a little bit weird to be the biggest.
Yeah.
So.
Does he still do the OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Like, again, I know it all goes to charity, so I won't bash him for that, but.
Right.
That's just weird to me.
And he calls them tasteful nudes because there's no nudity whatsoever, I guess, and it's all like everything's placed in a certain way so that nothing gets shown.
Okay.
But I know he did it obviously one for charity, but then also to hype up because he made a documentary about his mom. And like his grandma and whatever with the move from like Korea to the United States and like adjusting and blah blah blah. So he makes very like particular moves, which is cool to see. Obviously, he's all strategic.
Yeah.
Plus, he also has the 2 YouTube originals, the Markiplier in Space, the Choose Your Own Adventures, and the Heist with Markiplier too. And those are always good. For the most part.
So yeah, when I said the last thing, this is kind of starting to finally go away, but what about podcasts having porn stars on there?
Dude,
and OnlyFans girls?
It's
starting to go away.
I think it'll make a comeback.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I don't know.
Especially as we get closer to November and stuff like that. Oh yeah, it'll make a huge comeback, I think.
Yeah, but it's just weird, like the stuff that gets asked, and then people always make the comparison too, like, okay, so you can sit here and talk to all these porn stars, their opinion's so important, but Andrew Tate is a bad guy.
Right. Right. That, and then I feel like too, like they're sitting there like, hey, if I say something crazy, then a bunch of people are going to sub to me, and, then I'll make all the cash that I need for the month and whatever. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird putting women specifically in a bad spot, I feel like, too.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah. They'll be banned from this podcast.
Kind of going back to what you said for Jack being a sellout. Let's dive into that a little. Jacksepticeye. Why is he a sellout?
So like a year ago, 10 months ago, okay, big Smash event. Nintendo cancels last minute. Streamer Ludwig decides to have one. He's looking for sponsors. Jack sponsors it. Well, before this, he has some kind of tweet like, "Oh, I feel so bad. Nintendo's so bad. Blah blah blah." Yeah. Obviously doesn't watch Smash. Couldn't name anyone to compete. Didn't even know Melee was the game being played. Thought it was Ultimate. Well, I mean, it was gonna be Melee and Ultimate, but since Ludwig did it, I think he just did Melee. But didn't even know. So that was one example, and then I'm trying to think. There's some else like he bashed Andrew Tate or something. But that was the big thing I remember. Maybe I'll think of it here.
And then recently he was bashing Mr. Beast. Said Mr. Beast ruined YouTube, even though he takes constant breaks of YouTube and stuff like that. And that kind of goes back to like what we were saying with Mr. Beast of people nitpicking and whatever. You have a guy who is more or less the absolute best at YouTube, right? He knows the algorithm like nobody else.
Yeah.
Is trying to make the world more or less a better place. and then you have another one of the biggest creators on that same platform just gonna try to say he's ruining it.
Yeah, bash him.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, but yeah.
Now what was I was about to say with that? But yeah, right. It's just with Mr. Beast. It's easy to sit on the couch and nitpick. Backseat content create. I guess I'm just making up that term, but I assume everyone knows what I mean. But yeah, it's totally different actually doing it, and he's thinking about videos months ahead. Like people don't understand.
Right. I like to see Jack go in the middle of the ocean and survive a week. Which he did recently. Which Mr. Beast did recently.
There was a clip I saw today. This is kind of like a quote that goes along with the whole Mr. Beast thing. Yeah. People want to see you do well, but they don't want to see you be more successful than them.
Exactly.
Again, that was a clip I saw today. Don't know who, don't remember, don't care. But it's kind of another example. I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of hate when he was smaller.
Right.
And now, yeah.
And we kind of started in this field when we started talking about content creators, but then you kind of brought up the OnlyFans people.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of go sort of in that direction, right? The David Dobrik, because obviously he's really connected to like Corinna.
Yeah.
And that Liza, obviously they used to date and stuff like that. You watch too much of him, or
I get some clips. Yeah.
I don't get any of his clips anymore. I know I got his when he was having all the big controversies and the lawsuits and stuff like that, but not so much anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even know what he does anymore. Really, too much.
But yeah, he was like accused of something, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
David Dobrik, like with minors or something.
I don't know about the minors thing. I know it was the it's kind of like a harsh work environment because the one guy got hurt when they were filming a video. And at first it went away, it was fine, and then the dude went back and sued him after he left the channel. I think he won too. But I know David, he's got his pizza place in LA, I think, that people seem to like, and there's always a line.
Oh. Did not know.
And then what about Corinna? You watch too much of her?
Just again clips of David. Why? There's some I missed there. She says stupid things.
Oh no, I don't really get too much of her. She's all over Twitter. Even when maybe I do follow her. I don't know. But even before I actually followed her, I would still get all of her stuff constantly.
So what about her and like other content, older like women like that, content creators like defending Logan Paul's wife?
I figured we were getting into the
fiance or whatever the fuck they are. Yeah.
Well, let's say this, right? The Dylan Dennis stuff is funny as hell.
Yeah.
But there's a line, right? Like, let's say you and I are gonna box or something like that, right? And like before, like in college or whatever, before we became full-on friends and everything else, and stuff, I'm not gonna like dig into your past and then just blast your girlfriend or anything. I'm gonna blast you. But calling somebody, because they're not married yet, right? They're just engaged.
I believe just engaged.
Going after somebody's fiance is kind of where it draws the line a little bit. It's funny from the outside point of view.
Yeah. But
it is the pettiest and lowest ball you can hit, essentially, right?
Yeah.
It goes against everything with bro code and everything else. Even if you don't like Logan, it's an awful thing to do. So, with Corinna and stuff going and trying to defend her, it doesn't really bother me. And if anything, it's fucking warranted. And then Dylan, he just goes and claps back at Corinna. And it's funny, back to being funny again. Like I said, it's a low ball. He shouldn't be doing it, but it is funny.
Yeah. I've always been a little skeptical that they're ever really gonna get married.
Yeah.
Again, this kind of came out of nowhere for me. As someone that just gets hammered with impulsive clips. I guess now they're taking a break, so that's why I don't get it as much. But yeah, I don't know. It came out of nowhere, and then this girl happens to have a past, and Dylan Dennis is getting all these photos. They're hyping up this fight. I don't know. It just seems suspicious to me. We'll see what happens in the end.
100%. I mean, we all saw his fight with Floyd, holding him up and stuff like that. So, it's kind of one of those things. Hey, I got to keep hyping it up because I take so many big breaks between boxing. Because I'm also doing wrestling and Impulsive and all these other things, Prime and
that's something we could talk about too. When this gets bigger. I don't know how bad I want to ever sponsor an energy drink. Like, Logan can sit there and say his energy drink's healthy, and Mr. Beast can too, but no. Yeah. I want kids to drink water.
Yeah, and for the most part, we're nowhere close to how we were in college as far as drinking stuff.
At one time, I may have been Mr. Mountain Dew, right? But but I don't know. I'm kind of against it now.
Right. The three of us were definitely overboard
with Mountain Dew.
There was times when, after I had left college, I would come and you guys would have literally mountains of Mountain Dew cans. And I would have been Mountain Dew clean for a couple weeks, and then I just see come over, hey, you want one? Sure. And then it's 4 later,
I remember the C-store. I'd have extra money at the end of the semester, and then I'd go there and buy their Mountain Dew.
It's use it or lose it. So, and I drink mine. I drink maybe one-ish a day or whatever, and maybe I have a couple of days where I don't and stuff like that. But no, I agree. I'm more on the water train.
Recently. And like at work, sometimes I'll do hot chocolate in the morning, like I did today, and when I'm like out on the road, I'll drink my lemonade. But I don't know. I don't want to be the reason kids are drinking that shit.
Right.
I'll put it that way.
Now, I know it's the Prime energy drink that's the bad one. And then like the regular Prime, I think is not bad.
Or better, yeah.
Or better.
Or like less. Or no caffeine or something.
Or something like that. I know when Kim and I did the Tough Mudder one, they gave us one of those Primes. It actually wasn't too bad. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I will say it wasn't that bad. I thought it was going to be worse. I've not went out and grabbed another one. No. It wasn't that good. I'd rather just drink Gatorade or something like that. But I have zero interest in going for the actual Prime Energy. The only time I really even dive into the straight energy drinks period is like the Monsters. I'll get one every now and then. And if I really am tired, I'll get the C4 energy drinks. And that's more for if I'm going to go to the gym or something like that later, because it gets you going. I'm like shaking sometimes afterwards because of all the shit that it has in it. So
yeah. Well, actually, I remember you saying that C4 or whatever.
We're gonna do it for a challenge once. You have to drink at least the full can, and I just want to. And by the time you get to the bottom of it, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Yikes. All right, stay tuned.
We'll do it when Jackson's here.
Okay. I was thinking about some other food challenges too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
when he comes,
stay tuned for that because it's gonna be funny. Well, every time you lose a double dash race, you have to chop one. Jackson's gonna be like, "I'm hallucinating."
The fucking C4. It'll just be fucking sitting up. It'll just be cracked.
Instead of us using alcohol, we'll use energy drink shots.
Yeah. After me saying I don't want to support that kind of behavior.
But no, I agree. But as far as like sticking with, I don't know if you saw the Jake Paul. So I didn't know he had a podcast. Did you?
What's it called?
I have no idea. That's the thing. I had no idea Jake had a podcast. Apparently he did.
I think he does, but it's like it's not as often he uploads as Impulsive.
Okay. His co-host.
Yeah.
They walked out on him. They quit mid podcast. Now I could.
And they still uploaded the podcast?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a little suspicious.
Oh, 100%. Well, and then he's just like, and it was random. It was completely out of the blue, and it just popped up on my TikTok. He's like, yeah, so just so you know, this is my notice. He's like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, so I don't really want to do this. It's not fun anymore, and blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, after this is my last one. And he's like, so you're just quitting? And then the other guy's like, oh, yeah, so I want to quit too. Do I need to, like, give you this notice? And he's like, no, I mean, you guys can just leave. And then the guys is like, all right. And then they just, like, leave. And he's, well, Jake's, like, sitting back. He's like, wait, you guys are actually fucking quitting on me?
Yikes.
So I'm sure 100% staged, or it was like the guys wanted to quit, and first he was like, wait, let's do this because this will be cool. But yeah, apparently, he's had a failed podcast. But I think Jake's a punk, anyways.
Yeah,
I've never liked Jake. So.
Yeah, maybe we could talk about them quick. Yeah, like Jake and Logan, like, you know, people that weren't around for YouTube back in 2017, 2018 when they were doing a bunch of stupid shit.
Yep.
And pissing people off, and I remember Jake calling the Mexican twins or whatever beaners. Like, at some point, you know, you gotta say I'm sorry. You gotta apologize.
Yeah.
Or else people like us in the know, we're just never gonna, you know, forgive them.
Right.
No, I don't care if he does boxing now. And I remember, like, he tried to have a match in Cleveland and, like, be like the hometown hero, and people weren't really feeling it.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, like, I don't know. They just, I don't know.
So, and like, here's the thing with both of them, right? Jake, I think, you know, like I said, I think he's a punk. I think he's just, he can't be super stupid, you know, just chasing his brother's coattails, essentially. He's a great boxer to an extent. Right. Yeah. He hasn't fully proven himself, but he could be really good.
He's better than average people on the street.
100%. Plus, obviously, fucking ripped to all hell because he has constant training and stuff like that. So he could be really good. He's still a punk at the end of the day. Now, as far as Logan, obviously the forest and everything else.
Crypto Zoo. Yeah. Which we could talk about in a minute here.
Right. There was a point where it looked like he actually kind of made up for his past type stuff, but lately it's like the old Logan is back. Yeah. You know, which is kind of ridiculous to see again, but for a little bit it looked like he hit his redemption arc and he was actually going to be like a really good positive role model. Period, and now he's just right back to doing the same shit. So,
yeah, and I think with both of them, like what you said, like being a punk was like a good word because like I have a good memory, and your quarterback just threw a pick. Good,
horrible pick.
Yeah, I have a good memory, and I just can't forget that stuff. A lot of people, the Pat McAfees of the world, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like them. I don't think they knew who they were back in 2017, 2018.
So The Rock did. I don't know if you saw this controversy.
So, the Rock they were cool, then they weren't cool with The Forest, and then he reached out again. But then maybe just people like Pat McAfee I'm referring to that like him, and they just weren't on YouTube back in those days.
Yeah, I doubt Pat McAfee even knew he was a thing back in those days, type of thing. Yeah, because he was too busy with football.
He was still playing. Else. He was still punting. And,
So, and I mean, especially with Logan being mixed in with KSI, who I do love KSI. I'll always kind of defend KSI a little bit. Yes, he's a little bit outrageous, but that's his bit on the side, man. That's what draws people in. And you know, super smart. He has his music career. His boxing sucks, but but I'll always defend KSI at the very least. But
I don't think KSI has gone as far as the Pauls or even close. So that's why close. I'm not gonna beat you up on that.
No, and he's super he's low key, unless it's in videos, right? You never hear any other controversy about him. He's not out crazy partying like all the other YouTubers and stuff, like getting in trouble. He does his videos, he works really hard, and that's it. You know.
Yep. So again, we were talking about the past with the Pauls. Keemstar, do you have an opinion there? I'll say mine. So, I've always been pretty positive with him actually, because my like first memory of him is when PewDiePie got called a Nazi or whatever, or Nazi, and all of a sudden, all the ads got taken off of YouTube, so like creators were making a whole lot.
Yep.
He was someone that like defended PewDiePie, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Because obviously Wall Street Journal, whoever the writer there was, full of shit.
Yep.
So yeah, that was kind of my first memory, and then like later on that year, like he was like always bashing the Pauls and like talking about how terrible role model they were for kids and all that.
Right.
I think before that, there was some controversial stuff that I don't really know or remember, so I can see where people wouldn't like them.
See, for me, I know what you're talking about, because it was right around that 2015, 2016-ish era. Something happened there, and I remember because I was bashing you because I knew how much you like Keemstar and stuff like that, and all of it was coming out, and I forget exactly what it was. For me though, Keemstar has always kind of been he's poking the bear for the content, because he was always drama alert or whatever, and stuff. So for me, that was always my thing. For Keemstar, like you said, I like the defending when it needed to be defending, but especially lately, he's poking the bear and poking the bear.
he's said in podcasts, he just pulls up Twitter on his computer and or X now, and just waits for drama basically. Right. And
so, and I mean, I get it, it's his bit, it's what he's been doing for 10 years plus, but it's just like it's kind of old. When it's just poke the bear wise.
And now I'm not watching any of his stuff nowadays. Maybe a clip here or there will come up, but I don't know, just being like the face of like defending PewDiePie, and then Adpocalypse came, and like then a person or two started advertising. He was support Dr. Pepper, I think was one of the first ones back.
Okay.
And, but yeah, I'm sure he's got some stuff on his past, and I mean a lot of these guys we could nitpick.
Yep. It's just like a lot of people forget about things that happen, especially around that 2016 mark.
Yeah.
Because YouTube was going nuts in 2016 with the Adpocalypse, the Paul brothers, swapping girlfriends, and then like the PewDiePie dad making out with Logan or Jake's ex-girlfriend or something like that, or somebody that they were dating. It's like a lot of people forget all this stuff was going on for whatever reason. And
again, it's like you got to be our age, maybe a little bit older, but after that, if you get too old, then you weren't paying attention to that, this kid stuff.
Right. So. And then like even then like Kim's sister, who I don't even know what she would have been at the time, but she just turned 18, well, going on 19, and she was really big. She had like the Maverick shirt and stuff like that. I was like, why are you even wearing that? Do you see what's going on? So yeah, I
knew a couple of girls that were like that, but even older. That's a funny part. Maybe hit on one more person or two more people.
Yeah.
The one you might know. So Jackson back in the day, like the Game Grumps, where are they nowadays?
Dude, I don't know. I actually don't know if they even do anything anymore. He used to be huge. They would have the live shows.
Yeah.
And Jackson would talk about them all the time. I don't hear anything about them.
Yeah. I would see, Jackson show me a clip here and there, and I just figure with TikTok and shorts nowadays, I'd see them at least once in a while, but
yeah, I don't.
I guess not.
How about super old school, Red and Link? Ever watch them too much anymore?
No, who's that?
Well, they have the. Oh no.
Red and
Link. Good Mythical Morning. They've been doing that forever. They're super old school YouTube, and they've still been doing stuff to this day. And whatnot. They around the time the Pauls were doing their music stuff, they released a couple of music videos, and some of them were pretty clever. But yeah, they're super old school. I think they're close to in their 40s ish now.
Yeah.
Epic Rap Battles of History. That's pretty old school too. They do stuff from time to time, but not too much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise, any other YouTubers you want to ask me about? Twitch streamers? What about Pokemon? Any opinion there?
No, not really. No. I see a lot of people like, we missed the old Pokemon. I was like, I didn't watch her even then. No, the Pokemon Valkyrie, I mean, I could care less. I know people just like them because they're hot.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? And then like when Fortnite was big, she was playing that every day. And...
Yep. Oh, okay. Here we go. Ninja. What are your thoughts on Ninja these days?
So yeah, I mean, I still like him. He must do some kind of, maybe it's not a full-on podcast, but like him, his brother, the old Packers backup quarterback named Kirk, and then some other guy, or Kurt.
Yep.
And then some other guy will get together and talk about football and stuff. But no, again, he doesn't live too far from us.
Really?
He's just over in Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, he did move to Wisconsin.
But no, I think he's a good role model too. So I don't have an issue with him.
I don't know. I think back when he was still doing Fortnite.
He still plays some Fortnite, but it's not the same.
Right. It was a little over the top whenever he would lose or die. He would freak out a little too much. Everybody was a hacker.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Even if it was like somebody like Ludwig or something like that would kill him. And you're a fucking hacker, and then you find out it was okay. So there was all that, but he's fine. He's kind of whatever.
Skill wise, he would blow my mind when he would do solo and in like a squad,
right?
Like that.
Back in the
day, like holy cow, like I can hardly win with one squad, a full squad, dude. You can do it by yourself,
right? But yeah, back in like the old school Fortnite days when we were playing all the time before building became a thing. Well, as big of a thing as it was for a while. He was doing stuff nobody was doing. And
he was out of the meta.
Yep. So yeah, but no, he's more or less kind of disappeared.
Yeah. The game's gotten less popular too, and then it doesn't help. Again, he went to Mixer and then YouTube for a little bit, jumping around.
Yep.
Doesn't really help. Now back on Twitch.
Right.
But no, glad you brought him up. He was someone I wanted to ask about. Otherwise, I think that's a good.
That's a good stop.
Good hour.
Oh yeah.
Good hour and 4.